Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo from Van Halen's She's the Woman off of their A Different Kind of Truth album. Now before we get started, it's really important that you tune your guitar down 1/2 step, just like Van Halen did. So E becomes E flat, A becomes A flat, D becomes D flat, etc. You know the drill. Alright, let's jump on into it. Alright, section 1 goes like this, at normal and then slow speed. So it should be pretty easy to follow the tabs here, but I do want to call out, look at the 7th note in, that 12th fret of the G string. You're sliding through that note quickly to the 14th fret. Okay, I've mentioned this before. Whenever you see something in tabs where the font looks smaller like that, it means you're going through that note more quickly. So you don't want to pause on that note, you want to go through it quickly. And then at the end, you can see we've got that 12th fret harmonic on the D string. I was very tempted when I first learned this to play it down here on the 7th fret of the G instead. You're able to get more of a screaming harmonic on the G string, but when you watch Eddie play live, he does it on the 12th fret of the D for whatever it's worth, but I think you can do it either way and most people won't know. All right, let's keep moving. Here's section 2 at normal and then slow speed. Again, with that one, you've got that quick note, moving from the 10th to the 12th of the G string. You can say I've tabbed it with that smaller font, like I explained a minute ago. Okay, now I want to pause here real quickly and talk about the relationship between the notes here and the music theory behind it all. And most of the time when I do Van Halen lessons, I don't get into the music theory because Eddie was all over the place, right? That's one of the great things about him is he was so unconventional. He would do whatever felt right and sounded right. He didn't care about being within scales and modes and things like that. Although it was apparent that Eddie often would use patterns and shapes, but not necessarily scales. So here I'm going to put section 1 and 2 up on the screen, and beneath the solo, you're going to see what chords are being played underneath. You can see it goes from a C to a D to a B flat and back to a C. Okay, and anytime Eddie shifts chords underneath, the note choices on top will follow, and they will be within the major or Ionian scale. So for example, the first couple of notes are over a C, right? Those notes fit nicely within the Ionian or major scale. Then he moves up to a D, and he's got notes within the D major Ionian. So he keeps following that logic throughout most of the solo. So I wanted to call that out. It does get kind of weird toward the end, and I'll explain that when it happens. Let's keep moving. Section 3 at normal and then slow speed. So a couple things I want to call out here. First, that 5th fret of the D string, you're coming out of that quickly to the 8th fret. And don't linger on that 5th fret, come out of it quickly. Once you're up on the 8th fret, you're barring your finger across the D and the G for the rest of this part. And the last thing I want to call out about this section is oftentimes, or most of the time, you'll see it tabbed like this, where I'm showing you on the screen right now, which would be something like this. Which is wrong. If you listen closely to the original, play it my way, play it that way, and you choose, but I'm pretty confident that my way is the right way because I really slow down the original like I normally do and listen very carefully. You know how it works with tabs out there, right? Someone will write a tab, they'll notate it, their interpretation, and then it gets posted online and people start repeating it ad nauseum. It becomes like gospel and just repeat it over and over and over. But again, I stand by my notation, but you let me know what you think down below. Let's keep moving. Section 4 goes like this at normal and then slow speed. Now, one of the things I want to call out here is the fingering that I'm using. And I found that this fingering makes this section the easiest. So watch my left hand, and I will put the notation for the fingering on the screen too. But here we go. Now notice how I don't use my pinky until the very last note. can use whatever fingering works best for you, but I mainly do this because of the last 3 notes. That just makes the most sense to me. It's the easiest to play that way. But again, do what's most comfortable for you. Let's keep moving. Section 5 at normal and then slow speed. Now with that one, when I was first learning it, I was very tempted. Instead of doing 12, 13, 15, 12, 13, 15 on the D and G, I would shift everything down to the G and B strings. So it would be 7, 8, 10, 8, 9, 11, right? 7, 8, 10, 8, 9, 11, like this. Instead of, okay, so it would look like this. And the reason I thought it was that way originally, again, same notes, just a different part of the fretboard, is because it allows you to move from the first half into the more easily, right? Versus, I mean, it's negligible. It's a small difference in everything, but I thought that was the way it would be the proper way. But after watching Eddie play live, he does it up here on the 12th fret. All right, but again, play whatever's most comfortable for you. Let's keep moving. Here's section 6 at normal and then slow speed. Again, you've got that 13th to 15th fret slide that goes through pretty quickly. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, here's section 7 at normal and then slow speed. Those last 3 notes sound really weird and out of place, don't they? But I do ask that you go back and you check the original and you listen and play along to make sure that you think I'm doing it right. Because again, I listened to this many times over and over, and that's actually the way that most people tab it. Again, we know tabs aren't always right, but that's the way most people capture it. And we'll talk about, after the next section, we'll go back and talk about this one. We'll tie them together and show the very weird relationship between all the notes. But you can see with the 11, 12, 14 pattern that goes up, that's classic Van Halen, right? That little symmetrical type of pattern. Although normally he would play those notes over either an E or an A chord, but here he does it over an F. But I'm jumping ahead. We'll get to the music theory part in just a second. Here's this part one more time at slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. And then finally section 8 at normal and then slow speed. Now I don't think this section really needs a lot of explanation. The first part's very simple. And then he goes through the bendy parts at the end. He holds that note for quite a while. I'm playing through my Helix right now, so it's not really going to sustain as much as if I was plugged into my EVH amp and cranked and all that. But you're going to hold that at the top for a while. All right. All right. Now let's go back and look at these last 2 sections and look at the very weird note choices going on. Okay, so the first 9 notes are over an F. Over. That's a very weird choice of notes to put over an F chord. Okay, even for Van Halen, right? I mean, I'm used to seeing these symmetrical patterns. Those notes might go over an A, but over an F, that's just very strange, right? I mean, it starts off with a minor third, major third, flatted fifth. I mean, it's just a very weird sequence of notes to put over an F. But again, I just want to call that out. Now the next 9 notes that go like this, that's really funky. So the first 6, that could be like G Lydian. Again, Eddie's not thinking of that. And then you've got on top, which would be more like Aeolian, I guess, over a G. it's just a weird grouping of notes. I guess that's why I think Eddie was just kind of letting things fly and not thinking about it too much. And then after that, things tend to make a little bit more sense. Like the D notes, I think, are Mixolydian if you wanted to think of that, and then the E notes would be kind of like Aeolian, I guess. Although I think Eddie was thinking of back to the root of the whole song, which is A minor. But again, I just wanted to talk really briefly about the music theory relationship between the notes because it's a great example of just being way out there, and it's one of the things that I personally just loved about Eddie Van Halen. Alright, that was my video showing you how to play the guitar solo from Van Halen's She's the Woman. If you found it helpful, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.